Hello and welcome to another episode of the eCommerce podcast. My name is Norbert, I'm your host, and today I'm talking with Mathijs from Motif. Hey Mathijs, great to have you here.
Hey Norbert, very good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really interesting. I just have been on the Motif website and started to design a T-shirt. Was guided through the process. So it's really a very interesting approach. Tell us a bit more about the product. What do you have for those e-commerce store owners?
Very good, absolutely. So Motif is a 5-year-old company. We are based in the UK. We employ 100 people,
Oh,
and we've
wow.
built. Yeah, it,
Jeez.
it is a large company. We've got 100 employees, literally all over the world, working across Brazil, Lisbon, London, Vietnam, um, um, and we're actually awarded to be the fastest growing e-commerce in the UK last year. So this is a serious, fast growing business, and I think I'm really excited about it. Obviously we what we do is we provide a complete turnkey solution for e-commerce entrepreneurs to design and sell products anywhere in the world in real time
Wow.
for free, no inventory, no issues on refunds and returns and all of those kind of things. It's done with through our platform.
Hmm.
So how that works is within motif.com you can design products. We have around 65 different products that you can design and customize, and you can directly push them through the store capabilities we provide in the platform as well. These store capabilities are integrated with payment solutions and backend data, and they come with a lot of marketing features and tools like cross-selling and upselling and retargeting and etc. This store you can put on your own domain, so you can fully white label it. So literally within 5 minutes, you can launch a white label e-commerce store with integrated payment systems with products ready to be sold anywhere in the world. And I think that's the e-commerce side of things. Whenever a store owner makes a sale, we'll produce it, we'll ship it to your end customer, and we will also do the customer care for you. And again, anywhere in the world. So Norbert, if you want to become an e-commerce entrepreneur in Brazil, you can launch within the coming 5 minutes on Motif. You can sell your products there right now, not having to worry about anything.
This is really a very interesting approach. It's something that helps, especially those designers out there or people that want to start in an online business to really start straight away without any thinking about payment systems and shipping and producing. And they can just sell their designs and their ideas. This is really insane. How did you get into e-commerce with this
So
approach?
I was in my I'm a typical so I'm from the Netherlands. So you go to uni really long, and then you try to figure
Mhm.
out what you want to do in life, and you end up in consulting. So I was in consulting, working for Philips and Heineken, a lot of topics about e-commerce. And obviously, back in 2014, I saw the rise of Shopify, right? And it's a great solution, but they give you one thing, right? And they do it really well. It's basically the e-commerce environment. If you think about it, in order to build up your own store, it's still a lot of work, right? You're going to be spending 10, 20, 30 hours a week building your store, optimizing your store, integrating payment systems. You're going to be finding suppliers, doing the refunds. And I thought, well, it's an amazing platform, absolutely. But it's got to be a smarter, easier, more instant way to do that thing. And that's really how I started playing around with the idea that currently evolved in what is Motif right now.
Hmm. And when I'm your customer and I have already a web store, can I also use Motif?
Absolutely. So what
Yeah.
I what we support tens of thousands of entrepreneurs around the world, and some have their own web store already, and that's great, right? They might be selling physical products, and they want to be complementing that by products that are produced by us on demand. We can integrate those products within your store. That's very simple to do. You can do it through the platform. But I think
Hmm.
there's also a really great business case for many store owners. They focus on a specific product or niche or geography, right? Now imagine you're selling digital products within the US, and you're doing it great, but you're like, well, I'd like to test some physical products, or I'd like to test the European market or Brazil. We give you a route to do that instantly. You can
Hmm.
test markets, build those markets up, and once you're comfortable, you can sort of expand your offering there. So really, the initial learning you can happen also from Motif. And every time you make an order, it's your client, right? It's your buyer. You own all of the data, the tracking data, the buyer information, etc. So it's also a great way to complement your existing store assets by testing new geographies, new channels, new products. Once successful, you can obviously scale them up with Motif or just embed them into your own existing store environment.
Oh wow! So this is really a very stunning idea and a good concept, and I really see that it's working. You have 100 employees, so this is really insane. From your extensive experience working with e-com businesses, what sets the winners apart from the rest?
For me, looking at Motif, e-commerce is a super exciting market, and I think when I look at uh, what the entrepreneurs are doing that's really set them apart, and what I define set them apart could be different for everyone, right? We've got stories where you've got people that are generating income on the side to supplement full-time jobs, make more money for the family, or it's about doing the stuff you love. That can be success for anyone else. But if I just look at it, well, in terms of sales volume, I think it's the mindset to scale. Scaling your products that are doing well.
Mhm.
If you've got a product that's selling really well in the US, there's no reason why that product should not work in Europe, within South America, within Australia, wherever. Scaling your winners quickly across different channels and doing that really with a scaling mindset, I think is the difference between doing 10,000 a month and 500,000 sales a month.
Mhm. Got it. And operationally, what should be the biggest focus for an e-commerce business leader?
you know it's about scaling your processes, right?
Yeah.
It's about, you can't be good at everything. So I've got 100 people because I'm not good. I'm not good at 99 of those things, right? So there's other people out there who are doing a better job. And I think you got to recognize that, right? Every different entrepreneur is good at something and enjoys working on something. And I think the
Yep.
key thing I'd recommend is focus on what you love and what you're good at. Don't try to become better at the stuff you're not really good at.
Yeah.
Scale that process. You don't want to do the VA stuff? Get a VA. You don't want to deal with refunds? Find a way, a partner that does it for you. You don't want to translate your assets into German and because you don't speak the language, you can get it done. You focus, if you're good at marketing, focus on marketing. Designs can come elsewhere, for instance, or product insights or whatever. Um, so, and that's what we love, right? We work with entrepreneurs that are really good in marketing. They love to put the product in front of the right buyers on social or Google, whatever. That's what they love. Everything else we do, store, the payments, the refunds, the production, the fulfillment, the customer care, enabling our users to just focus on scaling, scaling, scaling.
Yeah.
Um, and whether you started on Motif or yourself, I think that would be my key advice.
And do you see an increase on the opportunities in the print-on-demand space?
Norbert, print on demand is revolutionizing retail.
Yeah.
5 years ago, when I started my business, if for me to produce what any of our merchants or entrepreneurs would sell, they'd have to sell at least 10 products. Now I can produce every single product you sell. I can produce it, no minimum order volume. There's new product categories moving into print on demand every year. New
Wow.
geographies are opening up. We've got the biggest retailers in the world are using our platform to launch new e-commerce propositions. So there's there's no reason why legacy retail, if you think about products that are produced en masse in bulk somewhere in the world, are being replaced by on demand. It's more dynamic. You can test a wide variety of products and scale those ones that work without cost. Um, you know, Economically, you make far more profit. If you sell a t-shirt with Motif, you make $18.5 if you sell it for $25 in the US.
Mhm.
And think about the environmental benefits.
Yeah.
It's not the key driver for starting Motif, but there's no waste. There's no waste. We produce locally. If you sell in Brazil, we produce in Brazil. If you sell in US, we produce in the US. So we only produce what's being sold, and think about the carbon footprint. Now, so
Cool.
it's commercially very dynamic opportunity to test. You make a high amount of profit per order, and we're doing what's good for the environment, right? Let's be
It's
honest. I mean, I
it's
think it's important.
it's also interesting for sports clubs or for clubs that sell their merchandising T-shirts and so on. Is this also a business that you follow, or is this
We,
for someone else?
we actually currently work where we're doing some tests with some of the largest football clubs in Europe. You know, we're talking
Hmm.
Champions League clubs here,
Oh
um,
wow.
and that is really exciting. And obviously, it's a bit of a mind shift. It's a different way of working, right? Because it's about dynamic. It's about being instantaneous. Things go trending on social. You want to monetize that directly when it happens.
Mm,
That's what a platform like Motif offers you. And I think that shift in way of working, seeing the opportunity, takes a bit of time for some of these clubs, but they absolutely see it.
mm,
I think
cool.
in addition to this, um, print on demand is what we do, no minimum order volume, which means if you sell one product, we'll produce it. Now, all of a sudden, you can do product personalization. So, stuff that we do, and that's 30% of our volume, is where you, as an entrepreneur, design a product, and then your end customer can further personalize that design,
Hmm.
adding their name to the design, right? Or imagine the design. I live in Austria, and my name is, and you see the design Norbert, and you fill in Norbert, and all of a sudden, it's a super unique product that nobody else in the world has, but you have it, and it says everything about you.
That's
Now,
cool.
the applications are endless, and we power those things with Motif.
Very, very stunning. Do you have any quick wins for e-commerce businesses to streamline their operation?
I think, yeah, there's a couple of things, right? I think the key thing is, um, if you talk about production and fulfillment of goods, right? If I was an entrepreneur and an e-commerce entrepreneur, I would find a super reliable partner to do that.
Yep.
Someone you trust. You don't want to be dealing with that stuff. You
Hmm.
don't want to. You don't want to have inventory you can't sell. You don't want to have inventory you need to discount. You don't want to be dealing with returns.
Yeah.
Outsource that stuff, and we do that with print on demand, right? So print on demand is on demand production. So I definitely advise every single user to check out print on demand as a really exciting way to outsource your production and fulfillment. So you can focus on what you love, which is probably for most of the people making the sale, right? It's about getting that customer into your store, seeing him flow into the payment process. And I think that's stuff. And obviously, there's some great solutions about automating your email marketing and all of the kind of things, which, by the way, also comes integrated within Motif.
Hmm. Cool. Let's talk a bit about automation. What role do you see automation playing in the e-com for the next few years?
I think if you look at the ecosystem, look at a Shopify, the number of apps in the ecosystem about automation, whether it's about your whatever process you have to deal with, there's got to be a solution out there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these solutions are still not perfect. They're rather immature, but they're thinking along the right lines. Right? What the entrepreneur needs to solve automating. Um, and it depends, right? It depends on the type of products you're selling. It depends on the regions you're selling into. Now, think about let's talk about let's talk about taking your business global.
Hmm.
If you're selling a product, you want to take it global. All of a sudden, you need to optimize your store accordingly. So there's and your product descriptions and stuff like this. There's solutions out there that do it all for you. That make sure that every single customer touch point anywhere in the world is optimized for their local language.
Yeah.
And I think it's just about being smart about those things, right? Whatever you have to spend 5 hours a week recurring on, you've got to automate if it's not value add.
Very interesting. Um, how can I connect to your solution and maybe export users to add them to a newsletter or something like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
if you start on Motif, right, and you talk about outsourcing, well, I think Motif is the holy grail of outsourcing because you focus on one thing, we do everything else. So for me, that question is already answered for how I build up Motif. But indeed, you can export your customer lists and then import them elsewhere,
Cool.
right?
Hmm.
And I think that's really important.
Do you have also any kind of API available? So if I'm a developer, could I at some point connect to your system to do specific things or get
Yeah,
specific data?
so at the moment we are building out your API set where you can plug in directly into our supply chain. Because obviously, I know we're giving store capabilities to make the sales, and that's great. But some people, they might have a store already, and they just want to get the sale there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're currently sort of finalizing some of the work on building out our APIs that you can plug directly into our supply chain with
Mm-hmm.
existing stores, for instance.
Okay.
And all of that environment is currently being built. So I think that's going to go live somewhere in Q1.
Cool. Perfect. This is really, really interesting. My last question for today, and it's always the closing question of the eCommerce podcast. Who has taught you the most about e-commerce in your career?
I'm going to give you a surprising answer there, perhaps. And it's my girlfriend.
Oh, really?
I will tell you why, Norbert. This is the life lesson. My girlfriend, she's a trader she works in the city in London in finance. And the one thing she told me is understand your margins.
Okay.
If you're an e-commerce entrepreneur, do not understand the true cost of your unit economics of the cost of acquisition and really understanding the dynamics there. You can be making a whole bunch of sales, but bottom line, you might not end up with a whole lot. So if you don't know your acquisition cost, do your buyer lifetime value, your true unit economics, and all of the other hidden costs, subscriptions and refunds and returns, you're not in control of your business. So understand where you spend your money and make sure you're moving accordingly and track it real time.
Really interesting. It was a stunning interview with you. Thank you very much. I learned really a lot today, and I have heard much things. The idea of bringing this on-demand, print-on-demand business to such a broad audience, to really let designers come in, create their products, sell them, let them sell online, or retailers that want to try a few new things and start the online business, especially in times of Corona, where you have to have new ideas to sell online, to be online, and to really start it away without any kind of friction. This is really great. So go and check out Motif. Motif. So it's now help me with the pronunciation. Motif.
Listen, Norbert, I pronounce it Motif,
Yeah.
but as long as people know to find the website, moteefe.com, they'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, we will link it anyway. So Motif, and I just also played around a bit. So I'm about to open up a SyncSpider franchise store for with a few shirts. So again, thank you very much. Was a really great time, and stay healthy and good luck
Okay,
in the
thank you,
future.
Norbert. Appreciate the time.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye bye.